All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live coming to you hot in hot Los Angeles, experiencing the heat wave. But who am I to say? Because, we're really blessed with the weather out here. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's going to wait a couple minutes so we can go ahead and get started. And we got a hot training for people who want to get that credit score going. So, Michael. All right. It's going to wait a couple more minutes here so everybody can get situated in the chat. And then we are going. It's going to wait a couple more minutes here. If y'all can press number 1 in the chat, if you guys can hear me, that would be great. And then we're going to get everything rolling today and get you guys started right. So, it's my first live back as a married man. For those of you who don't know, got married last week, and it was such a blessing. What's going on, Big Nick? Nicholas Thorpe is one of the most effective and game-changing copywriting coaches out there. So for all you copywriters out there, hit him up. Or if you want a really dope copywriter that is killing the game for his clients, make sure you reach out. All right, y'all. Gonna go ahead and get started here shortly. Thank y'all. Audio's looking good. And what are we talking about today? We are talking about the 3 mindsets to have when fixing your credit. So let me just go ahead and copy this link, put it in my personal Facebook. We're live. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Also, if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group yet, feel free to join the group. We go through a lot of things when it comes to fixing your credit. Gain a lot of good testimonials from the group. And here's the cool thing, guys. We got none to sell you in the group. If you need additional coaching fixing your credit, obviously we can help you with that. But other than that, you have no excuse to fix your credit anymore. All right. So let me just post this on the personal. We're going to get the ball rolling. Assess credit there. Bam. Pre-game. Exactly. All right. Copy the link. Let me go ahead and do that. All right, Facebook should be good. Bam. All right, we are live. All right, y'all. So what are we talking about again today? Again, 3 mindsets to credit repair. All right. So for a lot of you who don't know, when it comes to fixing your credit, it is going to take a lot more than Googling some stuff, watching some TikToks, watching some YouTubes, all that stuff. And, you kind of have to have your mindset when it goes into fixing your credit, right? Why the mindset? Okay. Without the mindsets, when you are fixing your credit, the mindsets or the credit repair simply won't work. And the credit repair will be ineffective. Why is that? Because when you start fixing your credit, you're going to see a lot of stuff online. You're going to see a lot of stuff, everywhere, where you're going to see shortcuts and how this can be done sooner and how your credit can get fixed in one day and how a magic wand can magically fix your credit. And then your credit's fixed, right? So, you got to have these mindsets to kind of keep you on track and to make sure that you're doing everything you can. Because at the end of the day, the reason why you're fixing the credit is for an end goal, right? Whatever that end goal is, whether you're buying a house, you're buying a car, you're going to get business credit to invest in your business. You're going to get business credit to start your business. You're going to get mad funding so you can go ahead and start a type of business, right? There's many different type of things why you want to have your credit set so you can go ahead and, just make sure you're not missing out on an opportunity, right? So again, you want to have these mindsets because they're going to keep you on track. You want to have these mindsets because it's always going to have you looking towards the long-term goal or the end goal. And when you're in doubt of when something's not working, at least you can go back to these mindsets, and you know that these mindsets are going to be the foundation of where you're starting, right? What I see with a lot of people that are fixing their credit and that are my clients that, are not doing good with their credit repair. And again, you got to get, you guys, I'm fully licensed and bonded when it comes to your credit repair, right? So not only do I have to do what I'm doing, but, I get regulated by the NCs at B to make sure I'm doing my job, right? But when people are fixing their credit and, it's not working out for them, typically what I see is because they don't have an end goal. They just want to have a good score. And again, there's nothing wrong with just having a good credit score. But when you don't have that end goal in mind, the credit repair isn't as serious for you, or it's not as a priority for you, or, even worse, you just, you're not even going to use it, right? Or, your credit actually becomes a liability compared to an asset. There have been so many times, and this is why I don't take on just clients who are trying to fix their credit. If they want to just fix their credit, they can just go online on their own and, do what they need to do. But the reason why we take on clients that have a very specific goal and they're making their priority is because they're willing to do anything they need to do to fix their credit, right? And I'm not saying, spend a bunch of money to go and get the credit fixed, but, when it comes to a credit repair, it's a whole process, right? Again, not only is there the information you need to find, not only is there the templates you got to find, not only do you have to make the stuff, yours, meaning the templates your own, but once you deliver the disputes and stuff comes back, you actually have to sit down, read what's going on in these letters that they're responding to you, and actually respond to them, accordingly. And a lot of people don't do that. They just think, again, they can just go ahead and pay someone and like not really do their job, or they think that one letter will always work, and it doesn't work, right? So again, why is there, so going to the mindset number one, right? Credit repair is simple and it is a process, right? Keep in mind, I'm saying credit repair is simple. I'm not saying that it's easy, right? It's simple. What's the difference between simple and easy? Simple, anyone can do it. Is it really easy? Not really, because again, it's like me giving you this big old binder right here and saying, okay, these are the rules you got to follow when it comes to fixing your credit. And here's the thing, even if you don't have to pay anyone a dime, there are so many people out there that want to fix a credit on their own, but because they don't want to read a simple, pamphlet or a binder, and again, the rules and regulations of credit is probably this big, they're going to choose not to do it. And then they want to wonder why why credit repair doesn't work, or they wonder why, it's taken so long, right? There's a whole guide when it comes to fixing your credit. And that's, the mindset you got to keep, right? It's simple. All you got to do is just make sure you do the work, and it's a process. But for some people, it's not easy, okay? Remember, there's rules and regulations that the third parties have to adhere by. And without those processes, you cannot hold those third parties to account if you don't even know them, right? Again, credit repair does not happen overnight. It's on you. Okay, so it will take not just time, but it'll also take energy and fixing credit. And if you don't follow the timelines, then you will be delaying your results. Okay, if you are not following the timelines, then you will be delaying your results, and it will take longer for you to get the results that you really want, right? And that's why people hire companies like ours, firms like ours, so they're going to deal with the waiting and dealing with all the other stuff. Okay. So at the end of the day, the credit repair is on you unless you're hiring someone. All right. It is going to take time and energy. So remember that. Again, the next thing is with the credit repair and with it being simple. Yes, there are templates out there that you can copy and paste, right? But here's the thing. Credit repair has been a hot topic since COVID. The bureaus know what's going on. Okay. They're not just letting stuff happen. They know what's going on. And because of that, by you just copying and pasting templates, your credit's not going to get fixed overnight. You have to make it your own, right? The next thing too with credit repair The reason why it's simple is because there's many different processes, and with many different processes comes with many different disputes. A lot of people think that once you send one letter, that's it. Your credit will be fixed. Or my favorite, they go on Credit Karma, they go to Experian, and they press the dispute button, and they think that's it. That's the credit repair, right? That is not true. There's a whole process, many different letters, many different responses, many different things we got to deliver in mail, do online, do, via mail that you have to do, that we have to do to fix your credit. Okay. So again, not one dispute. You can't just copy and paste, simple templates. It's going to take a lot of more work than that. Okay. Now, the next thing, once you do get a response from a third party that you submit a dispute to, you have to read and understand what's going on, and at the third party, and see if the third party actually did what you requested. Because if they didn't, you now have to create a dispute based on what they did or didn't do and deliver those disputes accordingly, right? See, a lot of people that don't get results for credit repair, they get their big old letters from Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and they just toss them, right? And what they do is sometimes they end up disputing stuff that already got deleted. Sometimes they don't see that the bureau didn't provide the information that you requested from the template. And then you're going to go ahead and make these, next set of disputes that are just templates, and you don't really know what's going on. And what's going to happen? The third-party bureaus are going to go ahead and send you a stall letter, or they're going to ask you to go ahead and do, send in your copy of ID, social, verify yourself. And now you just verified all the information on your credit report, and they reactivate the account, or they lock your account because you didn't respond, or even worse, they reactivate that negative count, and now it affects your credit. It's in your new credit window. So now that old negative count just got renewed, and now you just lowered your credit because you choose not to read what the bureaus are sending you and seeing what they're actually doing or not doing. Okay. So with that being said, there is no shortcuts. Okay. Again, when it comes to credit repair, it's a process, right? Processes come with specific set of instructions, not just because they have a specific set of instructions, because these instructions make sure that the process you're doing work, right? So have you guys ever got a new toy or, set up furniture, and, the first thing you do is open it up and you see the manual, right? What do a lot of people do when it comes to the manual? If you're like me, when I was setting up my piece of furniture last week, the first thing I did was throw it away because I was like, okay, it looks pretty simple. There's a process, whatever. I'm going to do it my way, right? That's how people treat credit repair. And what happens is they start doing the process. They start doing, dispute templates, and they start doing what they're doing. And now they're 3, 4, 5 months down the line. They don't have any deletions, and they wonder what happened. And then they come to find out, they finally get that manual that has the processes. They look at the process and go, wow, I did it incorrectly, and this is why I'm not getting results. And because of that, not only do you have to start over, but sometimes the bureaus put an extended fraud alert, and you have to now call them, wait in line in a long ass phone line, and then hopefully make sure you don't get connected with someone overseas where you can't understand the accent. And then you want to talk to them for an hour, hour and a half to reverse what you just did. And sometimes you don't even know what you just did. So it's kind of just a ring around the rosy type of conversation. Who's had that happen before, right? With not just credit repair, with anything. If you have, let me get a number 2 in the chat, because like I said, I tried doing that and it didn't work on my end. Let me get some 2s to make sure y'all are paying attention with me. Does everyone get where I'm going so far? Can everyone still hear me okay? Okay. So again, when it comes to the process, you guys, you can't do a process too soon or too late, right? So I've been always a person to follow, the instructions, and to make sure you reduce any wasted time as possible. Okay. So when it comes to credit repair disputes, some people, when they get a response from a bureau or a third party, they immediately respond with another dispute, right? And when you are submitting disputes, the rule of thumb is that you should not send out your next set of disputes until 35 days after you sent out your last set of disputes. By you sending out disputes before the 35 days, what happens is the bureaus can go ahead and mark those disputes as frivolous, or they don't even account for it because you are not following the guidelines that they are held account to. All right, so keep that in mind. While y'all trying to do shortcuts or just doing stuff on your own without without knowing why you're doing them, that's going to delay your results. And again, there's no one else's fault but yourself. Again, unless you're hiring like the firm, a firm like ours to do so, right? So again, there's no shortcuts. Make sure you follow the process. If you are doing disputes, my personal recommendation: don't send out disputes no earlier than 35 days from your last disputes. Okay, so that's mindset number one. Again, credit repair is simple and it is a process. Any questions, comments, concerns with that? If not, I will move on. Okay, mindset number two. You have to be persistent when it comes to fixing your credit. Like I said, a lot of people, when they fix their credit, they do a simple thing of just sending one letter, they click dispute one time, and they do only one thing one time, and that's it, right? There are many times where you could even receive a response from the bureaus or a third party. And that's why even if you're not receiving a response, you got to keep going. You got to build a paper trail for them. Because if you have a paper trail and you choose to hire, some help from attorneys, or if you choose to, submit complaints with the CFPB or the FTC, at least you have a paper trail. A paper trail does not just mean you submitted one dispute and you don't respond to it, right? When it comes to credit, you want to make sure you have a paper trail, right? So why is it important to be persistent? Again, it could be several months before a bureau or a third party even acknowledges a dispute. And even worse, it could be several months where a bureau will have any deletions, or will they even have any positives to your credit report. So that's crazy, right? So, and that's the thing. When you are doing your process when it comes to credit repair, you are doing the process. There's no magic wand to make it faster. There's no magic target to make it faster. The bureaus ultimately get to decide when they get to delete or remove something on your credit. What's going on, Nick? If you guys in the Moore Park area, make sure you check out Nick the Barber out of the Surgeons. He's killing it. Always barred my hair up. But anyways, guys, you want to follow the process, right? Want to follow the process. And again, there's going to take multiple disputes to even see something. All right. So you have to keep in mind when you are in, this also goes back to being persistent, that each negative account could report to multiple bureaus. So just because you remove one item off one bureau doesn't mean it's automatically removed from the other bureaus. And you have to continue the dispute repair process, right? So a lot of people think, hey, they got the magic paperwork, they got the deletion off Equifax, and they don't read the paperwork that is still on TransUnion and they're still on Experian, so they just stop the process. And then they run the credit again and they say, that same collection from AT&T, let's just say, is still there. And you're like, damn, I thought I got deleted off Experian, but it still shows on Equifax and TransUnion, right? So, it's when you have one collection for, let's just say, and it reports on three bureaus, it's not just one collection, it's three collections, because it's three collections. It's the same collection reported on three different bureaus, right? So, again, you had to be persistent. You have to keep attacking it. There's been times where I had negative accounts or collections where they got deleted on one bureau after 5 months, and then it got deleted on the second bureau after 7 months, and it got deleted from the last bureau after a year. It just happens. It is what it is. Again, there's nothing we can do to make it faster. There are some things, but some things, like, out of our control that we can't really do without involving other third parties. Okay. Next thing, when it comes to persistency, if you skip the process or don't create and deliver your disputes during the allotted time frame, then the bureaus have the choice to start your investigation from square one, since they are regulated by the Fair Credit Reporting Act timeline, right? So this happens all the time with people I see that do it on their, do the credit repair on their own. They'll go ahead and submit their first dispute. Let's just say it's January 1st, right? Then they're on this new you, new me type of thing. And they're like, hey, then they get all these mail from all the bureaus. They see it's a lot of work and they decide to take their time. Now they're going from 35 days from their first dispute. They're going from 45 days from their first dispute. They're going 60 days from their first dispute. Now it's almost 3 months in. Okay. You're out of that timeline. So when you send a response to the dispute, the bureaus can go ahead and start from round one and say, hey, this is a brand new investigation. We close your investigation because we did not hear from you, right? So it's important, you guys, why I highlight day 35. Day 35 from your last disputes. You should be mailing out your disputes 35 days after your last dispute, right? At the latest, 45 days. And even then, with everything that's going on, the bureaus are finding every single thing to delay your disputes and to delay your investigation. So put them on ice, you know what I mean? Make sure they're doing what they have to do, okay? And you always hear my number, it's 35 days, okay? Last thing with persistency, like I said, before you even sending out your letters, your dispute letters, you want to make sure you're doing credit freezes. I still do credit freezes because I tell my clients, why not? It can only help and not hurt you. And to update their personal information, right? Calling the bureaus, writing letters, or doing it online. Look, when you call a bureau, doing it online, it could take you an hour, 2 hours out of your day. But again, it's something simple that's, not as easy for some people, but for some reason, people don't do it. Okay. So make sure you're persistent in your whole credit repair process. It's important. Questions, comments, concerns for mindset number 2, y'all? Hope it's pretty clear. All right. Now let's go to the last mindset. Mindset number 3 for credit repair. When it comes to credit repair, you got 2 things. You either got time or you got money, right? Why do I bring this up? Is because credit repair is simple and it's a process. It is going to take time if you do it on your own, right? But if you're like me and you understand, how important it is, but you simply don't have the time, and this is why I created the firm, to be a convenience for people that, don't want to just stress out about buying a home. But imagine buying a home and then fixing your credit, and then you got kids, and then you got a full-time job, and then you try to do all the extracurricular activities like I do. Like, imagine trying to buy a house, trying to run a business. I have a job. I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to play video games. I want to go rage. I want to go to raves, all that. And then I got to fix credit. Not happening, right? So that's why I created the company. So why is it time or money? Is because, again, the only thing is you have time or money when it comes to fixing your credit, right? Here's the thing when it comes to money. You can pay for results that happen faster, okay? So I know this is contradicting what I say about you can't do things faster. There are some things you can do, to make stuff get off your credit faster, but not every creditor would do it, right? So you can pay for people to, to do it on your own. And when I say by faster is the average person that tries to fix their credit on their own, you guys, it takes them almost like 3 or 4 years to actually get to the score they want, assuming they don't do a delay because of all the research they have to do, right? So here's the things to make it faster on your end. And it's not really faster, I'd also say for convenience. But number one, you can hire everyone, someone to do it for you. Hire someone like me because we do it every day, 7 days a week. Number two, again, if you have the time, just do whatever you need to do to get in time, right? So examples of how money can make your process faster. Here's the number 1 key sauce that everyone wants to hear, because everybody wants plays and sauces, which I don't believe in plays and sauces. And all that means in other terms is shortcuts, right? Here's the quickest way to delete something off your credit. Pay for delete. Here's the thing, you guys. What is a pay for delete? A pay for delete is a tactic that you can possibly bring to a creditor to pay them to delete negative items off your credit report. And here's the con about it. Not every creditor will do a pay for delete. For example, Chase, JP Morgan Chase, right? They won't do a pay for delete, right? And here's the thing. If you don't follow the pay for delete process, you'll get played. One of my clients did not want to wait anymore because they're about to buy a house. So they had to, message Verizon, all right? When they talked to Verizon, they waited an hour and a half to get someone, right? Then they went to, once they got in Verizon, they negotiated pay for delete, and then they got an email saying they pay for delete, but they didn't get it in a mail or a letterhead writing, right? So now, because the client didn't follow the process, he has to call back to Verizon, wait in line again, and then now wait whatever time he didn't call back for the bureaus to get that pay for delete letterhead, right? Again, the pay for delete is when you get to negotiate with a creditor, they agree that they'll delete it once you make the payment. And then, you get it on paper, then you go ahead and submit a check stating the document, making sure the document's there. And then, you do your part of the bargain. And because you followed the agreement, they're going to go ahead and delete it. How people get played is they just pay a negative item on their credit collection without negotiating any pay for delete. And instead of getting a pay for delete, they get a paid collection, right? So what does that do? A paid collection is just as bad as getting a new derogatory mark or new collection on your credit report, because all you did was get especially if it's an older account past 2 years, you got an old collection that's not charged off, you paid it, and they now make that last active date to whatever day you paid it. And now for it to fall off your credit, you have to wait a minimum of 7 years, right? And that happens all the time, you guys. A lot of people think you just pay collections without talking to them, and it's going to magically get deleted off your credit, or not having type of negotiation or tactic behind it, and it just ruins their credit more, right? But if you get lucky, you get someone nice on the phone, they offer credit and pay for delete. Typically, you do this towards the end of the month because they're trying to close out the month strong. You go ahead and negotiate pay for delete. You get it done via mail. You go ahead and write a check. You put on the memo as per agreement, pay for delete. And then for any reason they don't honor it, you can take a screenshot of the deposit, the check, and the agreement. You can submit to CFPB, and there you go. I'll go ahead and get removed off your credit correctly. And again, that's the crazy thing too. You can literally negotiate pay for delete, do everything you can, and they won't follow exactly what you did. So now you got to take time out of your day and submit a CFPB complaint. That's a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau complaint. That's crazy. And you did everything that you're supposed to do, right? So pay for delete's one of the quickest things to get off your credit if you choose so, because the average credit repair process can take anywhere between 6 years or 6 months to 24 months. Okay. Anyone tell you sooner it's just a band-aid and they're probably not licensed and they're not regulated by CROA, I'll just report those people because they make it bad for the industry. All right. Next thing to make your credit repair process quicker, you can hire a Fair Credit Reporting Act attorney, right? So for a lot of people fix their own credit or you're in my industry, you'll notice that the bureaus are getting smart, right? You notice that behind the bureaus, they're responding, behind the responses to the bureaus, they're not following the FCRA guidelines. And they also know that the bureaus also know that the majority of these consumers that are submitting disputes will not take their threat to take them to court seriously. And they know that most people won't and can't afford to hire an attorney, right? How many times you guys hear it? You guys hear the Karens do it all the time in the stores. You're going to hear from my attorney. You know damn well they hear from no attorney. They don't give a damn, right? So here's the thing. All these people that have templates that are fixing their credit with templates online always say, if you don't follow this, I'm going to go ahead and, take you to court. We know damn well you ain't taking you to anybody to court, right? And the bureaus know that. So because of this, the bureaus are not going to follow the timeline or even process disputes, and they get to exercise the tools of the stop taxes, or they can do extended fraud alerts. So if you hire a Fair Credit Reporting Act attorney, they will literally make sure that the bureaus are following the guidelines. And if they're not, guess what? They're going to go ahead and try to negotiate some violations on your behalf. Right now in the credit repair space, we're seeing 1,000 per violation, which you can go ahead and do without an attorney. I wouldn't suggest it unless you know the law like the back of your hand and you practiced it before. But you can go, the attorney can negotiate these settlements on your behalf for each violation. And guess what? For the attorneys that you're paying a retainer for and doing this for, they might take a cut, right? For the attorneys that are pro bono, where they pay you after, but they'll probably take the whole thing. You don't see anything. There are some attorneys, though, that will do your case for free as long as you're a client of ours. So just keep in mind, you know what I mean? When you are a client of ours, we have access to these attorneys to make sure you're getting hooked up and that they get a typical guideline, right? For us, just because we make our credit repair services affordable, we usually do that at the last end because our processes are more effective. We know how to get them off, in a timely manner. But for the ones that we know they're racking up violations, we're going to use an attorney to go ahead and do so. Okay. So those are the two fastest ways, you guys, other than just doing credit repair on your own to make the repair faster. You just do a pay for delete, or you hire a Fair Credit Reporting Act attorney. Questions, comments, concerns. Again, that comes with the money part or the time part when it comes to your credit. Can you guys still hear me? If you can, press 3. That would be cool. And then I'll go ahead and continue. All right, so this last part, you guys, we'll go ahead and start talking about time. Okay, like I said, you either have money and time when it comes to credit repair, and a lot of people that don't have the money, they have the time. So here's a time when it takes when it comes to fixing your credit. Like I said, you can do all the research on your own, and you can learn how to fix your credit on your own. You got to learn the rules and regulations, you got to learn the templates, and then you got to learn the processes, right? If you're like me, and I was good at school, but I hate doing schoolwork, imagine just going online researching. That's what credit repair is, right? And then when you got to write a paper at school, that's pretty much like writing your dispute letters. And then you got to go ahead and watch webinars and all that on how to upload these letters and make sure you have the right process, right? That is a credit repair process. Again, there's nothing wrong with it because that's where I started before I started my business. But just know it's going to take time, right? And it's going to take a lot of your time. A lot of people don't have a lot of time right now. And at the same time, if you do have extra time, why the hell do you want to keep yourself in front of a computer learning stuff that you're only going to use once or twice in the world, and you just lost time, right? So not only do you have to find the rules, the regulations, the templates, you got to make sure, the most importantly, that everything you're doing is up to date. There are so many times, you guys, where I've started a process for a client, did everything I can, make the roadmap for the client, and we found out that the credit bureaus have changed the whole process. So now we're going to go back to square one, right? So for the people that are actively looking at the new news for credit repair, I guarantee that they don't have the resources to make sure that if anything changes, they need to change their process, right? So imagine that time. You just created your roadmap. You just did everything for your credit repair process. You're in month 2. They change everything. Now what? You got to learn a whole new process. You got to redo your templates. You got to redo your disputes. You got to set everything out. You might have to cancel out what you did before. That is the credit repair process. That's what we deal with every day, right? So again, save yourself the time, right? Invest in yourself, hire a company, hire me if you like, and we'll do it all for you. So here's a recap, you guys. The 3 mindsets for credit repair. Number 1, credit repair is simple, and it is a process. Mindset number 2, you have to be persistent. And mindset number 3, you either have time or money when it comes to fixing your credit. All right, y'all, that is all I have for the trading today. What I'm going to go ahead and do is open up this. Well, before I do that, just want to go ahead and let you guys know, next Wednesday, we are going to have a special guest on our live training. We're going to have one of the best realtors in West LA. If you guys do not know, Hind Anib. She sells $1 million houses in the West of Los Angeles. She's one of the top agents with RE/MAX. She helps first-time home buyers, investors, and we're going to talk about the market. we're going to talk about, the mindset of buying your first home, getting credit ready, and the opportunity the real estate market has as of today, right? The myths of it's too expensive, the interest rates are so high. There are so many insights you're getting from an experienced realtor that's going to show you what to look out for when buying your home. And if you're doing it smart, of not just buying a home, but also making an investment in the long term, because again, once you guys get equity is good, guys. Imagine you just living in a house. Your house goes up to, 50,000, 20,000, 200,000, 300,000 for some people. Personally, with my circle, we have people that have $200,000 equity, and now they get to use it for future investments. So that'll be next Wednesday. We're going live, and we're gonna open up Q&A. So, ladies and gentlemen, Q&A. Go ahead and we'll take this time to answer any credit repair questions you have. And if there's no questions in the next 5 minutes, we will hang up. Coach Scott, send me your service fees. I'll DM you because not everyone's fees are the same. Obviously, as you know, everyone's credit repair is different. Everyone's credit report is different. All right. Oh, no questions? Everyone got it figured out today? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I'm going to be live for one more minute. If there's no more questions, then we're going to log off. And then I'm going to wish y'all an amazing weekend. Speaking about equity in this house, now check this out. Facebook, you won't be able to see this, but check this out. A house is projected to go 3 million in my neighborhood. What does that mean? Equity. Thank God for the good plays. Thank God for the realtors that hooked me down. Thank you, Coach Scott. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. Looks like there's no preguntas for today. Thank you all for coming. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday. I think we're doing 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure you come through with the crew. Get your questions ready. And we will bounce. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Yay!